Iran's supreme leader is dead. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the man who ran Iran for 36 years, was killed this morning in an Israeli airstrike on his own compound in Tehran. Iranian state media confirmed it overnight. Trump confirmed it. Netanyahu confirmed it. And 4 Israeli security officials confirmed that his body was physically recovered from the rubble. Trump posted on Truth Social, and these are his exact words: Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans, and those people from many countries throughout the world, that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. Netanyahu went on national television and said, "In a powerful surprise attack this morning, we destroyed the compound of the tyrant Khamenei." And when the news broke inside Iran, people in Tehran opened their windows and started cheering. Celebratory music played in the streets. Because for millions of Iranians who suffered under this man for nearly 4 decades, he is finally gone. But here is what you need to know right now. Iran is already hitting back. Hard. Missiles struck Tel Aviv. Explosions in Dubai. Qatar under fire. And Iran just released a statement saying the most intense offensive operation in the history of their armed forces is about to begin. This is the biggest story of 2026. And I am going to give you every single fact: Trump's reaction, Netanyahu's reaction, what happened inside Iran, and what comes next for America. Let's get into it. What Trump said, and why he is celebrating. Trump was at Mar-a-Lago monitoring the operation overnight. Vice President J.D. Vance was in the Situation Room in Washington. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and Energy Secretary Chris Wright were all on the line. When a reporter asked Trump directly about Khamenei's death, he said, "We feel that that is a correct story." Then he added, "The people that make all the decisions, most of them are gone. Most of Iran's decision-makers. Gone. In one day." Trump then posted the full statement on Truth Social celebrating the killing and said the bombing will, and I am quoting directly, "continue, uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and, indeed, the world." Senator Lindsey Graham called Trump immediately after the strikes began. He told NBC News, "Help is not on the way anymore. It arrived. President Trump made the right call, and the world is a much better place without the Ayatollah and his henchmen." And when a reporter asked Trump who he thinks should lead Iran next, Trump said, "I know exactly who, but I can't tell you." He added, "Yes, I think so. There are some good candidates. The President of the United States just said he has a preferred successor for the government of Iran." That tells you exactly how far Washington's ambitions go here. What Netanyahu said, and what Israel is celebrating. Netanyahu went on national television and was direct. He said the joint U.S.-Israeli attack will lead to true peace. He thanked Trump personally, calling it historic leadership. He said, "I spoke with him again this morning and I welcome the close cooperation between us." And then Netanyahu said something remarkable. He turned directly to the Iranian people, the 90 million citizens of Iran who have been living under this regime, and said, "This is an opportunity, do something. Do not sit with your arms crossed. You have to complete this work and you have to bring down and eradicate this regime." The Israeli military released an official list of confirmed kills. Here is who died today. Khamenei himself, supreme leader for 36 years. Ali Shamkhani, Secretary of Iran's Security Council. Khamenei's most trusted advisor. General Mohammad Pakpour, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The man who controlled all of Iran's elite military forces, its missiles, its proxies. Aziz Naserzadeh, Iran's defense minister. Mohammad Shirazi, Khamenei's personal military bureau chief. Sullah Asadi, senior IRGC intelligence official. Hussein Jabal Amalin, chairman of Iran's weapons research organization. And Khamenei's own daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and grandchild, all killed in the compound strike. A senior Israeli official told the Times of Israel, ballistic missile facilities were taken out. The regime is being crippled. And we will continue to strike them until the existential threat posed by the Ayatollah regime is removed. Netanyahu even had a book sitting prominently on his desk during the call with Trump, a book about how the Allied powers defeated the Axis in World War II. That was not an accident. What happened inside Iran, the destruction and the celebrations. Now let's talk about what actually happened on the ground inside Iran today. Because this was not a limited strike on one building. This operation hit 24 out of Iran's 31 provinces. Strikes hit Tehran, Isfahan, home to Iran's most sensitive nuclear facilities, Qom, Karach, Kermanshah, and dozens of other military targets across the country. Satellite images showed Khamenei's compound, his office, his residence, reduced to a pile of rubble. Black smoke rising. The building simply gone. The U.S. military said it struck IRGC command and control facilities, air defense capabilities, missile and drone launch sites, and military airfields across the country. U.S. Central Command said, CENTCOM forces are delivering an overwhelming and unrelenting blow. A second wave of Israeli strikes came overnight targeting Iran's ballistic missile array and air defense systems. Over 30 additional targets hit. And here is the part that nobody expected, the celebrations. Satellite images and eyewitness accounts from Tehran showed something remarkable. As news spread that Khamenei was dead, residents went to their windows. They cheered. They blew whistles. They played music. Iranians in Los Angeles, home to the largest Iranian population outside of Iran, over 200,000 people, poured into the streets celebrating. One restaurant owner named Saghar Fanasalek told CBS News, "We all want to say thank you to President Trump. This is the only person who supports us in the last 50 years." Every single person in Iran knew that the only way that this regime was going to go away is to attack them. Iran fights back, and the damage they did. Now here is the other side of this story. Because Iran did not collapse quietly. They fought back, immediately and aggressively. Iran launched missiles and drones at Israel and at American military bases across the region. Here is what got hit. In Tel Aviv, one Iranian ballistic missile broke through Israel's air defenses and struck a residential building in central Tel Aviv. One woman in her 50s was killed. 121 other Israelis were injured. Rescue workers were still scanning the rubble for additional casualties. Israel declared a 48-hour state of emergency. Its airspace was closed to all civilian flights. In Bahrain, Iran fired at the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters, the most important American naval base in the entire Persian Gulf. The U.S. Embassy in Bahrain shut its doors and cancelled all appointments. In Qatar, missiles were launched at Al Udeid Air Base, the largest American military installation in the Middle East. Qatar's air defenses engaged. In Dubai, and this one shocked people, explosions were heard during Ramadan prayers near Palm Jumeirah. Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest international hub, was shut down. Over 1,400 flights cancelled for Sunday alone. In Iraq, a militia group called the Brigades of the Guardians of Blood launched a drone attack on a U.S. base in Erbil. And the IRGC released an official statement saying, the most intense offensive operation in the history of the Iranian armed forces will begin in moments. The U.S. military said it sustained minimal damage and 0 American casualties. But make no mistake, Iran is not surrendering. The one man still standing in Iran, and his threat. With Khamenei dead and most of Iran's leadership killed, one man emerged as the most powerful figure still standing in Iran. His name is Ali Larijani. Former parliament speaker. Former head of Iran's nuclear negotiating team. One of Khamenei's closest and longest-serving advisors. Khamenei had apparently anticipated this scenario and elevated Larijani to manage the crisis if Iran's leadership was ever struck. Within hours of the strikes, Larijani posted on X. And his message was not surrender. He wrote, "We will make the Zionist criminals and the shameless Americans regret their actions. The brave soldiers and the great nation of Iran will deliver an unforgettable lesson to the hellish international oppressors." That is the man now in charge of Iran. And that is his message to America. What comes next? 3 questions that will define this week. Question 1. Will the Iranian people rise up, or will the IRGC clamp down? Trump and Netanyahu are both calling on Iranians to take to the streets and finish off the regime. And early signs are encouraging for them: celebrations in Tehran, cheers from windows, people taking to the streets. But here is the hard reality: the IRGC still exists. It still has hundreds of thousands of soldiers. More troops have been deployed to the streets since the strikes began. Taking down a government while foreign bombs are falling and armed soldiers are on every corner is extraordinarily dangerous. Trump is asking Iranians to risk their lives. And many will think twice. Question 2. What do Hezbollah and the Houthis do? Hezbollah in Lebanon has not yet launched a major attack. The Houthis in Yemen have pledged to resume Red Sea strikes. If Hezbollah opens a full second front against Israel from the north, this becomes a multi-front regional war almost immediately. The next 48 hours will tell us whether this stays a US-Iran conflict or becomes something much larger. Question 3. What happens to the Strait of Hormuz? 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway every single day. Iran controls the northern bank. If Iran decides to close it or mine it, oil prices spike globally. Gas prices go up here at home. The global economy feels the pain fast. Dubai's airport is already shut. Airlines are rerouting. The economic consequences are already beginning. The bottom line. Here is where things stand right now. Khamenei is dead. Iran's defense minister is dead. Iran's top military commander is dead. 7 of Iran's most senior officials killed in one day. Strikes across 24 of 31 provinces. Iran's compound in Tehran is rubble. Iran has fired back, hitting Israel, Bahrain, Qatar, Dubai, Kuwait, Jordan. 1 Israeli woman killed. 121 injured. Dubai's airport shut down. Larijani, the man now running Iran, is promising an unforgettable lesson. Trump is promising the bombing continues all week. And somewhere between those two statements is where this war goes next. I will be updating you every single day with confirmed facts and verified sources. If this video helped you understand what is happening, share it right now. People are getting fed misinformation everywhere they look. Be the person in your circle who actually knows what's going on. Subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Stay informed. Stay safe.